Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Effects Maniac. This is Syed Mahmoud Amiri and welcome to the last tutorial in the Speedtree training series. So in this tutorial we're going to be talking about exporting your trees and your animated objects from Speedtree to your 3D application of choice. So we have this model here which actually comes with Speedtree. If I go to new and there's this recent models, it's called Trellis Growth. So yeah, and the cool thing about this is if I go back here, the growth is actually on, and if I play this, you will see that the leaves and the vines and everything are growing. So there are like two ways of exporting your object. One, you can do it like statically. So if I go to File, Export Mesh, then you're going to be prompted to a window where you want to save it. So if you want just a static object, you can go ahead and choose Autodesk FBX. And the rest of them we're going to be taking a look at a bit later. So for now we're going to choose FBX and we're going to call it like new mesh or whatever. So save it here. And there are some options here that we will be explaining. So you got the hierarchy, which parts of the object you want to include. So you got bones, skeleton, leaf references and all. But generally, you know, the default parameters are actually very fine. And then this option here is like swap YZ, so some programs, you know, use Y instead of Z. So if you want this, or you can untick this. And then the texture format, it'll also export the textures, so you can also go with unwrap UVs, format PNG and all that. And then you also have the option to export your wind, which we will be taking a look at later. So I'm just gonna hit OK for now. So yeah, unwrap mesh, okay. And then they will be exporting your materials and everything, and it'll be done in a minute. So it's done. So now you're going to go to your 3D application of choice. So in this case I'm here inside 3D Studio Max, and I'm going to go to File, Import and Import, and then we have our new mesh here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Open, and there are some options which you can go ahead and say OK to this. So and one of the problems here is that you have your mesh here, right? So you know, you may get it like flipped, and that has to do with the option that we swapped the Y and Z option. So I unticked it and now it's fine, but yours might come like this. So you may want to rotate it and, you know, make it facing like the right direction. So 90 degrees here, just like that. And I'm just going to hit R and scale this up. So here's a little problem. The materials and everything are set with Arnold because 3ds Max is already using Arnold as a default renderer. So if you want to change it to V-Ray, so what you're going to do is go to Render Setup and go to V-Ray 5. But then, you know, you also need, if I hit M, you also need to change the materials. So if I click on the color picker and click here, you'll get the materials, but then you'll get it in physical material like Arnold materials. So what you need to do is you need to go ahead and right click on the material, change material type, and then we're going to go with V-Ray material. So they're going to disconnect the maps, but I'm just going to go ahead and reconnect it. Diffuse, opacity, and bump. So, and then you're going to go ahead and do it for all of them. So change material type, and then just go and link all of these. So opacity and bump. So I'm actually going to go and do it for all of them, and I'll be back when this is done. So here I am with the materials and everything set up. So now I've added actually a plane here, and I've also added a V-Ray dome light. So if I render this out, you're going to see that we have this option here. The materials and everything is actually looking fine. So you can see that, you know, everything is fine. So now we're going to be taking a look at exporting an animated object. So that'll be a bit different. So let's say this object has animation, right? The growth or even wind, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to stop this, and I'm going to go to File, Export Mesh. And this time, instead of an FBX, I'm just going to choose a limbic. So this is going to be the growth, but I've already, you know, have this here. So I'm actually going to cancel this. So cancel. And again, if you go ahead and import it, I'm just going to save the scene, reset, and go to import, and then you want to make sure you click on merge, and you're going to go to the folder where your files are. So here's our ABC format, so that's the actual Olympic, and it's actually like 5.2 gigs. So I'm actually going to click open, and then we have these options here. So Z is up, you know, but if you set it to Y is up, so it'll actually import it like correctly. But then the main thing is we have our animation. So I'm actually going to scale this up, and you know, for the materials, I guess, you know, what you need to do is if I go to my previous scene here, so I have my scene here, don't save. What you want to do is you want to import first an FBX and set up all the textures, and then you want to go ahead import merge your, you know, growth animation. Y is up, import, okay. So then you'll have this, and then you can apply the same materials to this one. All right, so just click on this and apply it, and it'll be fine. So if you go ahead and preview this, we have our growth. So what you want to do is import your FBX first, set up all the materials, and then merge the growth sequence, and then you can use it to, you know, render it out or do whatever you want. So I have a little example here inside Premiere Pro. So it's actually from a previous version of Speedtree, so I've just, you know, exported the growth animation and then added some small like grass and rocks using Tyflow and 3ds Max. So yeah, that's how you export your objects from Speedtree to your 3D application of choice. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to support me on my Patreon if you love what I'm doing and get some project files and everything. And also it'd mean a lot to me if you subscribe to my channel. Alright, so this was the Speedtree training series. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from it. And if you have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And we will see you in another tutorial.